Hey everybody, this is Tarek with Stay in Tech, and yes, I'm back at it again. I never thought I'll do this again, but I'm back again reviewing phones. I'm going to talk about phones and anything that I come across in technology, basically. And today I have something very special for us. Everybody's excited about the new handset from Samsung, and I have for you today the Galaxy S8 Plus. We're going to unbox it, and we're going to take a look at the phone, and this is in the retail package that will be delivered to consumers. And I have here the T-Mobile variant of the Galaxy S8 Plus. So let's check it out. Alright, so here's the box. That's the box. This is for the gray variant of the phone, which comes in total of 5 different colors, but in the US we're only getting 3 different colors. And obviously this is the T-Mobile variant. It starts at 64 gigs. Now, my reviews are going to be a little bit different, just to give you a heads up, guys. I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm not going to go in details on the specs, what's in the phone, the megapixels, the processors, the Snapdragon, the RAM, and all that stuff. I'll just run through it very, very quickly. But I am going to focus on what matters to the average consumers. I am not being sponsored by anybody. I don't want to be sponsored by anybody. That's the reason why I'm going to give you the facts of how they are. I'm going to give you my personal experience in, input on how the phones actually function and work. Should you get this phone? Should you not get it? What would be a better phone for you? So, without further ado, let's take a look at the phone. So, let's crack this box open. Just to give you a heads up, guys, I did already open the box to take a look at it. I couldn't stop myself from actually holding the phone in my hands, but I put everything back in the box as good as I possibly could. So, removing the top lid, here is the phone. Obviously, this is the Galaxy S8 Plus. Let's remove this, and I don't want to share those serial numbers. You got the manuals and the SIM tool ejector, which we're gonna put to the side as well. Okay, you have the fast charging brick over here, adaptive fast charging. You do have this USB Type-C to USB adapter for data transfer. You also have an adapter that converts micro USB to USB Type-C, just in case you have an old adapter that you would like to use as an alternative. This works perfectly. And we also have this compartment over here. This is what I'm excited about, a new pair of AKG headphones, which are extremely high quality, and I'll touch on that in a second. Those retail for $99 alone. They are bundled in with the phone. And also, if you order the phone from Samsung.com, they will ship the phone with the new VR headset that comes with a controller. That's also included. So we have some ear tips, different sizes to go with that. Put that to the side. And we also have the USB Type-C cable that goes with the power brick. So let's move all that to the side, and let's talk about the phone. That's what we're here for, right? So let's get rid of the plastic that goes on the phone. And let me just get rid of the sticker. And take a look at this. This is a gorgeous phone. It looks really, really good. Samsung needed a comeback. They needed a huge comeback, actually, to earn the trust of the consumers. And they had to go, pretty much they had to put everything out there. I applaud them for that. They did a great job. It's a great looking phone. It has the same elements of the Galaxy S7. They enhanced where enhancements needed. The biggest thing that I like is that this phone has no camera hump whatsoever. They flushed the camera. If you look at this, I'll give you some. There is no camera hump whatsoever. So if you have it set it down, it will not rock if you're actually touching the phone. So just a quick overview of what the phone looks like. This is a 6.2-inch Quad HD display, which surprisingly, when you power the phone on, they have it preset to 1080, but you can control that in the settings, so you can go up. The reason they did that, obviously, because they opted for a smaller battery. It's a 3500 milliamp battery for a larger display. Of course, that's gonna affect the battery life. We'll talk on that in a little bit, but that's the reason why they opted for 1080, which looks phenomenal. to be honest with you guys, and you'll actually look for yourself. So we have that. We do have an iris scanner. We have an 8 megapixel front facing camera with autofocus, with wide angle, and we also have a face detection sensor as well. So there are multiple ways that you can actually unlock and interact with this phone over here. As far as unlocking the phone, you have the fingerprint sensor, which is right here. That's one of the things I'm not really happy with, because I mean, take a look at this. You hold the phone in your hand, your finger lays right here. You would have to actually overreach to touch the sensor, which is not really a big issue given the fact that you can use your eyes to really unlock the phone, or you can use your face to unlock it as well. So with that being said, that's what they opted for. USB Type-C, a single bottom firing speaker, which actually sounds pretty good. This phone's still IP68 water and dust resistant. Usually when phones are like that, except obviously for the iPhone, which this was the first phone to come out that was waterproof and still sounded very good. This phone follows in that trend. It sounds extremely good, but it's easy to muffle it if you actually put your finger on there, which I'll give you a demo, guys, in a little bit about the phone. Home button is actually embedded in the screen, and thank God that they give you the option now to switch between the recent and the back buttons. You can have them in the right direction. Samsung is the only company, well, one of the only companies that I know of that have those backwards. The back and the recent. They have the back on the right and the recent apps on the left, which should be the opposite direction. That's what we're used to, obviously, on most of other devices. Regular volume rockers, and then we have a dedicated Bixby, which is the new assistant that Samsung has. They have a dedicated button for it. That feature is still not really working. I guess they're going to release another update by the time the phone is released to the public in about 2-3 more weeks. That should activate that feature. So that's it as far as the outside of the phone, what it looks like. It feels really good in the hand. It does not feel big at all. I'll compare it to an iPhone 7 Plus here. I'll put it right next to it. So here's the iPhone 7 Plus, and here's the device. It is smaller. It is a little bit taller, but it's a lot narrower. If I put it right on top of it, you'll see the difference. That's right on top of that phone. It is easier to actually hold in one hand, and if you have slightly larger hands, you can actually reach pretty much the whole phone, and you can operate it by one-handed. So let's go ahead and power the phone on. I already, like I said, powered the phone on previously, and I went through the setup, but look at this gorgeous display. I absolutely recommend for you to get the black front of the phone, just for the fact that there is so many sensors on top. If you get the white front, all those sensors are going to be visible. So here's the phone powered up. Like I said, I already went through the setup menu. The screen looks absolutely gorgeous. This is a 1080 resolution. I have not adjusted it. If you take a look at the software itself and the home screen and all of the stuff, they changed a few things around. The icons look much better, especially with those lines, the new lines and the new design that they have for it. It looks a million times better than the previous generation would look like, cartoony kind of looking, and was not that good. Now to access your apps, you have two options. You can swipe up from the bottom. They'll give you access to your apps. They kind of went for what the Google Pixel launcher looks like. They opted for something similar to that. You can also surprisingly swipe down and you can access it as well, which is a search. You can actually search the entire phone like that, which is a feature, again, in an iPhone. It was introduced in the iPhone. So that's it about the phone. You know, that's the software. You have your quick notifications, very clean looking software. The phone is extremely smooth. I've actually been playing with the phone since yesterday. I've checked it out. There is slightly, like very extremely slight stutter and lag in the phone compared to previous Samsung devices. I was very surprised that they did not opt for a 6 GB of RAM, which in my opinion would have made a huge difference. It would have made the phone a lot smoother than what it is. But with the new Snapdragon 835 processor, the phone actually runs very well. Battery life, I'm still testing. I will actually touch on that in the next couple of days, because to me that's what matters in phone. What I care about on the phone is performance, how fast it is, how reliable it is. I don't want the phone where I'm trying to send a text message and it takes a while for it to type what I'm typing. Like I'll type the words and then after I finish they pop up or they populate. I don't like that. I want a phone with a great camera, and the most important thing, I want a phone with a great battery life. That's what matters to me. So that is the last thing that I have not really tested. I've tested the camera. I can tell you that the camera is phenomenal, especially the front-facing camera. Huge upgrade, huge. The speakers that were included sound absolutely gorgeous, and it looks like they did put some kind of DAC inside the phone to make them sound really good. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not an audiophile, obviously. I don't care much about it, but those sound phenomenal. I've tested those, and those are some premium headphones, and they sound really, really good. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, obviously, we talked about the software. Hopefully Samsung's gonna keep up with the software. They're gonna release security patches every single month. That's what, at least what they promised for. Like I said, see, I've switched the home and recent button. Now this is the back, which is standard. This is the recent apps. The home button actually is embedded. You press, it's like force touch. If you press it harder, you feel a haptic feedback. Actually, it vibrates and it tells you, hey, you know, you pressed me. I'm going back to the home button. Other than that, the phone is gorgeous. It has all the standard Samsung features. 3 things that I disliked about the phone, which I think Samsung would have hit a home run if they put those in. The first thing is the fingerprint sensor. That should have been right here, where the rest of the phones are having it. The rest of the phones that have the sensor on the back usually have the sensor. The other thing, they should have opted for a bigger battery. Come on, it's a huge phone. I understand what the whole scenario and the whole situation that Samsung went through with the Note 5. The Note 7, which I also have. But still, you went through all these tests, an 8-point test. I mean, you should have at least put a bigger battery. Going with a bigger screen, it's going to consume more power. You need more battery. People care about that. So that's the second thing. And the final thing that I really care about, which I mentioned earlier, is the RAM. Why not 6 gigs? Don't tell me you don't need it. The only phones that do not need 6 gigs of RAM, actually the only phone, or phones, yeah, we can say phones, are the Pixel phones, the Google Pixel, or any phone that runs a stock version of Android. Those phones do not need the RAM. They run smooth. They can manage RAM very, very well. But Samsung, you should have put a 6 gigs in there, but I'm not gonna say anything. The phone is absolutely gorgeous. It will earn Samsung trust with the consumers, in my opinion. I like it. It sounds good. It runs good. It does not get hot at all while charging whatsoever or while usage. It runs very smooth. It has a ton of features. Bixby is going to be very promising when it starts working, so we'll have to put that to the test. I'm not sure how well it is right now, because obviously I can't test it. You press. There's nothing that gives you those tiles over, but you can't actually talk to it, interact to it yet. But this is the release variant of the phone, so I put my SIM card in and I've tested it. Call quality is extremely clear. Wi-Fi speeds are phenomenal. This thing has some really enhanced radios and Bluetooth connection. Let me talk on that. This phone has Bluetooth 5.0, and I did connect it to a pair of headphones that I have, and I was about at least 50 feet away from the phone while it was playing. There was absolutely no problem whatsoever. I did not have a single problem with the phone. So this is the Galaxy S8 Plus. Like I said, go ahead and pre-order the phone. I do like this phone. Compared to other phones that are launching this year, like the G6, I would absolutely get this phone instead. I did pre-order the G6. I've had it. This is my personal opinion. I highly dislike that phone. It did not run very well. The software was not complete, in my opinion. It had a lot of lag, and the phone was getting extremely hot with usage. I'm not sure if it's just the unit that I've received, but I've read online and a lot of users are complaining about the same things. So Galaxy S8, I know the price is extremely high, they're way up there, but they're well worth it. If you're due for an upgrade, I would definitely go for it. A lot of the carriers give you 14 days anyways. If you're not happy, you can take it back. Go for this phone. It runs great, it is great, and on top of all these features, you have Samsung Pay, which in my opinion is the best mobile payment system that you can get on any mobile device. So this is just me, this is my thought on the phone. I want to ask you guys, actually, if you have any questions about this phone, please write them down in the comment section below. And I wanted to ask everybody, would you actually consider buying this phone after what happened to Samsung? Are you going to hold the Note 7 fiasco against Samsung and opt out of buying a Samsung device? What do you guys think? Please write it in the comment section below. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.